Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and a very warm welcome to Government House, Yarralumla. Dawa Nuna, Dawa Nunawel. I acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which we meet, the Nunawel people, and pay my respect to their elders, past and present, emerging leaders, and all Aboriginal or Torres Strait Islanders gathered here with us this afternoon. My name is Paul Singer, and I'm the Governor-General's Official Secretary. And as this badge signifies with its cross quills, I am also the Secretary for the Order of Australia, whose Council recommends appointments in the Awards General Division to the Governor-General, who is the Chancellor of the Order of Australia and the Principal Companion of the Order. I'm also the Secretary to the Australian Bravery Decorations Council, the body which makes recommendations to the Governor-General for Bravery Awards. Before we start the ceremony this afternoon, I'd like to acknowledge among our distinguished guests, General Angus Campbell, Chief of Defence Force, Captain Mark Page, representing the Chief of Navy, Major General Paul Kenny, representing Chief of Army, Ms Rachel Noble, representing the Director General of the Australian Signals Directorate, and Mr Bill Maiden, representing the National President of the Order of Australia Association. Welcome all. Notwithstanding the challenges presented by the pandemic, we are delighted that we're able to proceed with hosting this investiture ceremony here at Government House. We are grateful for your understanding of and compliance with the measures that we've put in place to ensure that this ceremony can take place in a COVID-safe manner. The Australian Honours System provides a wonderful mechanism through which we as a nation can recognise and celebrate ordinary people who do extraordinary things. Since its inception in 1975, almost 400,000 people have been recognised for their meritorious, bravery, national or military service. The Order of Australia is the principal means of recognising outstanding service, and it's important to note that nominations come from all parts of the community. Anyone can nominate. Today is a special day, not only for the recipients, but also for their families, friends and their communities. It's a day when we celebrate a diverse range of impressive achievements and service. My Government House colleagues and I are privileged to play a small part in that recognition and celebration of achievement. I hope that we can make today an occasion that you'll all remember with pride for some time to come. Shortly, I'll invite you to stand as Her Excellencies the Governor-General and Mrs Hurley enter the room. Please remain standing and join in the singing for the first verse of the Australian National Anthem. The investiture will then begin and proceed in the order listed in your programs. After I read their names and citations, the recipients will enter from the doorway on my right, and after they've been invested, will leave by the central aisle to take up their seats at the back of the room. And at this point, you might like to show your appreciation with a short applause as the recipients return to their seat. At the conclusion of the investiture ceremony, the Governor-General will say a few words, and at the end of the ceremony, I'll invite the recipients to join with Her Excellencies for official photographs out on the state entrance stairs. At this point, just invite guests to remain briefly in the room to assist with Her Excellencies and the recipients departing. And after the formal photographs, there'll be refreshments served in the dining room where Her Excellencies and the recipients look forward to joining with all guests. So ladies and gentlemen, please relax and enjoy this very special occasion. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the arrival of Her Excellencies, the Governor-General of the Commonwealth of Australia, Mrs Linda Hurley, and for singing of the Australian National Anthem.
Australians, all let us rejoice, for we are one and free. We've golden soil and wealth for toil, our home is good by sea. Our land abounds in nature's gift of beauty rich and rare. In history's page let every state advance Australia fair. In joyful strains then let us sing, advance Australia fair.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Please be seated.
Well, good afternoon all, and a very warm welcome to Government House Yarralumla from Linda and I and the staff here at Government House. This is an exciting week for us as we get the opportunity to recognise the achievements of some outstanding Australians from all walks of life and acknowledge the commitment they've made to their fellow citizens, to their area, their region, their profession, and to Australia. Well, I begin though by joining with the Official Secretary and acknowledging that Government House Yarralumla is on the land of the Ngunnawal people. And if you've been to Yarralumla on any occasion, you'll hear me say we live in a beautiful part of Australia here in the ACT. And we thank the Ngunnawal people for looking after it for us for generation after generation and pay respects to their elders past and present. We conduct these ceremonies twice a year after the Australia Day Honours List and the Queen's Birthday Honours List. Those 2 weeks are the highlight of the year for us. You'll notice there's a degree of protocol about the day. Staff are all in their best clothes and the ADCs are nice and shiny, but that is as it should be. This is a special day, as I say, and a special event. But it is also an Australian Government House, so please relax. You are allowed to laugh, applaud, and enjoy the occasion. We'll acknowledge today, as I've said, people who have excelled or contributed in a significant way to some aspect of life in Australia. Here at Government House, we call that demonstrating a richness of spirit that we see across our country day by day, Linda and I, as we travel. It makes me an optimist for Australia. However, there is only one way you actually get to walk through this door, and that is to be nominated by someone in your community. Our system has, I think, a quite almost unique characteristic in honours and awards system, in that you are nominated by your peers. Ours is not a system where an elite in Sydney, Melbourne, Canberra, pick a capital city, looks around, reaches down and says, Bill, Bob, Jenny are doing a great job. I'm going to give them a medal. People that walk through the door are being recognised because someone took the time to nominate them. I want you to bear that in mind because you will be issued homework by me after we've completed the formal part of the ceremony. We don't tell people that normally, otherwise they may not come. So you will have homework. So please watch the range of activities. Watch the mix of people who come through the door. They'll give you some clue to the homework I'm going to issue later. Again, warmest welcome. And could I say particularly to the families, and I'll repeat this in my concluding remarks, thank you for what you do. I know that no one walks through that door without support at home. So for each and every one who represents home, family, please, thank you very much for what you do. And as I'll say as I walk around speaking to the recipients later on, you got bling today. It's about time you responded to someone else in your family. Take them shopping. This is a family occasion as well as an individual occasion. So please relax, enjoy the afternoon, but particularly be honoured with me to be here and to acknowledge the work of some great Australians. Thank you. On that note, I'll now commence the formal investiture ceremony.
Your Excellency, to be presented with the insignia of his appointment member in the General Division of the Order of Australia, Mr. Michael Brennan, for significant service to the law and to community organisations. Mr. Brennan is a highly regarded legal practitioner who has positively impacted the lives of people both locally and nationally. He has willingly provided pro bono legal support to a number of organisations, including the National Australia Day Council, Soldier On, Kumari, the ACT Cancer Council, and the Canberra Symphony Orchestra. He's also a passionate advocate for reconciliation with and supporter of First Nations peoples, and has demonstrated this through the development and implementation of his law firm's Reconciliation Action Plan to improve economic participation and cultural awareness. Mr. Brennan embodies all that makes Australia great: hard work, generosity, inclusion, and national pride. Mr. Michael Brennan, appointed a member of the Order. Appointed a member of the Order in the General Division, Professor Roslyn Hanson, for significant service to urban planning architecture and to educational, professional and heritage conservation organisations. Professor Hanson has been an influential voice in the realm of planning and urbanism in Australia for many years. She's made a serious and sustained commitment to social housing through her contributions to a range of organisations, including Salvation Army Housing, YWCA Housing, the Launch Housing Advisory Board, and as chairperson of the Hallmark Affordable Housing Advisory Committee. She's regularly invited as an expert commentator and speaker on planning, urban and housing matters, and is a Life Fellow of the Planning Institute of Australia. Professor Hanson has made significant contributions to developing ways to make Australia a better and more livable place. Professor Roslyn Hanson, appointed a member of the Order. Appointed a member of the Order in the General Division, Mrs. Jan Phillips, for significant service to palliative care and oncology nursing. Mrs. Phillips has been a pioneer in the development of community palliative care services in regional New South Wales. She's been key to the direct delivery of these important services through her work with the Maria Oncology and Palliative Service, commencing in the 1970s. She is an accomplished nurse educator and has provided extensive practical and clinical training while inspiring many nurses and other health professionals. She's also been a facilitator for training programs with palliative care services in Malaysia, Indonesia, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, and Bangladesh. Mrs. Phillips' dedication and efforts have uniquely contributed to the next generation of palliative care nurses. Mrs. Jan Phillips, appointed a member of the Order. Awarded the Medal of the Order in the General Division, Dr. Lenoir Coulthard, for service to community history. Dr. Coulthard has made a sustained contribution to the understanding and conservation of our built heritage. She was key to the establishment of the Friends of the iconic Albert Hall and has served on the ACT Heritage Council, the Walter Burley Griffin Society, and the Canberra and District Historical Society. She also has a long record of involvement in researching and preserving women's history, with a particular focus on identifying and promoting the stories of women who have contributed to Australia's economic, social and cultural fabric. Dr. Coulthard is a very fine example of someone who uses her prodigious energies to support issues which are for the public good and that enhance and enrich community life. Dr. Lenoir Coulthard, awarded the Medal of the Order. Awarded the Medal of the Order in the General Division, the late Mr Matthew Deverson, to be accepted by his brother, Mr Ivan Deverson Jr, for service to the community of Narooma. Mr Deverson was an active and steadfast contributor to the community of Narooma for over 15 years. He was a civic leader who was committed to the development of initiatives to provide job creation and economic growth for the town's residents. He served on the Chamber of Commerce, was instrumental in the establishment of the Narooma Oyster Festival, and supported the Eurobodalla Business Advisory Committee. He spearheaded the creation of the Narooma Community Plan that will provide economic, cultural and social benefits for years to come. Mr Deverson was a stalwart of his community and his efforts are most deserving of our recognition. Mr Ivan Deverson Jr accepts the award of the Medal of the Order on behalf of his late brother, Mr Matthew Deverson. Awarded the Medal of the Order in the General Division, Mr Maddie Hassan, for service to the building and construction industry. Mr Hassan is held in high regard in the property construction industry through his commitment to excellence. With over 25 years' experience in the sector, he's worked closely with federal, state and local governments, national institutions, and with the private sector developing new project delivery models and contracts. Similarly, he's contributed his time and effort to numerous organisations and associations and has been a mentor to many young professionals. He's particularly interested in adding value to the higher education sector through strategic master planning of infrastructure. Mr Hassan is a rare individual whose contributions to our built environment are most noteworthy. Mr Maddie Hassan awarded the Medal of the Order. Awarded the Medal of the Order in the General Division, the late Mr Alan Mcdonald, to be accepted by his wife, Mrs Anne Mcdonald, for service to the community through a range of roles. Mr Mcdonald demonstrated an unwavering commitment to the community of Ulladulla Milton, particularly through his more than 35 years of service to Lions Club International. One of the many roles he undertook with Lions was heading up work teams that carried out major improvements to Budawang Special School, Milton Hospital Daycare Centre and Malala Nursery. He was also a foundation member of the Lions Ulladulla District Community Foundation, which funded and built Jindalara Cottage, a respite accommodation home for young people with disabilities. Mr Mcdonald's exemplary service to his community has improved the lives of many, and we honour him today. Mrs Anne Mcdonald accepts the award of the Medal of the Order on behalf of her late husband, Mr Alan Mcdonald. Awarded the Medal of the Order in the Military Division. Warrant Officer Class 1, Andrew Beeman, for meritorious devotion to duty as the Artificer Sergeant Major of the 1st Brigade, 3rd Brigade and 1st Armoured Regiment. Warrant Officer Beeman's performance from 2014 to 2015 was key to the successful implementation of the Armoured Cavalry Regiment construct. His experience with armoured vehicle maintenance and implementation of technical initiatives resulted in the successful integration of the main battle tank, Australian Light Armoured Vehicle, and the Armoured Personnel Carrier fleets. During his service with the 1st and 3rd Brigades, his leadership and trade skills promoted a culture of high technical integrity and compliance standards. Warrant Officer Beeman has vastly improved the professional development of the Royal Australian Electrical and Mechanical Engineers across Army. Warrant Officer Class 1 Andrew Beeman awarded the Medal of the Order. We move now to the Conspicuous Service Awards. Awarded the Conspicuous Service Cross, Commander Michael Holman, for outstanding achievement as the Senior Health Intelligence Analyst, Department of Defence. Commander Holman, as one of only 2 specialist health intelligence analysts in Defence Intelligence, provided an exemplary response to the intense demands of the COVID-19 pandemic. He had a lead role in advising our federal government of the emerging threat posed by the then unknown COVID virus, and was vital in the rapidly deteriorating international situation. He produced intelligence assessments, updates and briefings as the crisis unfolded, as well as threat assessments for medical assessment teams, Australian Defence Force Reserve personnel and private contractors. Commander Holman's work had a significant and direct impact on Australia's important response to the pandemic. Commander Michael Holman awarded the Conspicuous Service Cross. Awarded the Conspicuous Service Cross, Lieutenant Colonel Gareth Bowring, for outstanding achievement as the officer in charge of Operation Asia Pacific Economic Cooperation 2018 Assist, Liaison Advice and Assistant Joint Task Group. Lieutenant Colonel Bowring was instrumental in the success of Australia's largest international peacetime military operation. During Operation Asia Pacific Economic Cooperation 2018 Assist, he established bilateral strategic security exercises that led to the granting of operational air and maritime permissions. Through his relationships with counterparts in Papua New Guinea's Department of Justice and Attorney General, he helped secure the completion of Defence's legal requirements to enable Australian high-level military support. Lieutenant Colonel Bowring was key to the provision of a safe, secure and most successful Asia Pacific Economic Cooperation Leaders Week in Papua New Guinea. Lieutenant Colonel Gareth Bowring awarded the Conspicuous Service Cross. We move now to the Meritorious Service Awards. Awarded the Public Service Medal, Ms. Leanne Barnes, for outstanding public service to the local government in New South Wales. Ms. Barnes displayed expertise and commitment in her leadership of the Bega Valley community as it responded to and recovered from 12 natural disasters since 2013, most notably the 2019-2020 bushfires. As the General Manager of the Bega Valley Shire Council, she's driven the response to these devastating incidents. During the 2019-2020 bushfires, She guided the setup of evacuation and recovery centres and the creation of local recovery committees, while always being available to support a traumatised community. Ms Barnes has created a connected, responsive and dedicated local government organisation with the confidence to successfully navigate whatever challenges lie ahead. Ms. Awarded the Public Service Medal, Ms Shona Blewett, for outstanding public service to education and teacher training in earth sciences and for leadership in education innovations. Ms Blewett has made a sustained contribution to education at Geoscience Australia for over 16 years. She's developed the scope and capability of the Education Centre, and under her leadership, visitor numbers to the Geoscience Australia Education Centre have doubled. She's led the creation of education materials for students on minerals and resource management, driven professional content for teachers, and fostered communication skills for government scientists. During the COVID-19 pandemic, she led the team to initiate virtual classroom experiences for students. Ms Blewett has fostered the next generation of earth scientists and ensured that the Australian government is strongly represented in STEM education. Ms Shona Blewett awarded the Public Service Medal. Awarded the Public Service Medal, Ms Sarah Burns, for outstanding public service, in particular to improving cross-border governance and the modernisation of cabinet processes. Ms Burns has made an exceptional contribution to the ACT public service, in particular to improving cross-border governance between the ACT and New South Wales. She ably led the Intergovernmental Relations team and was instrumental in building strong relationships with representatives from surrounding jurisdictions and their councils, enabling a coordinated and cohesive application to policy and service delivery. More recently, she's led the ACT Cabinet Office, where her efforts have ensured improved decision-making and outcomes for our community. Ms Burns reflects the ACT public service values of integrity, innovation, respect and collaboration. Ms Sarah Burns awarded the Public Service Medal. Awarded the Public Service Medal, Ms Megan Lees, for outstanding public service leading Defence's national response to COVID-19 and the provision of policy and communications advice to the Australian Defence Force community. Ms Lees has been instrumental in the pandemic response across Defence and other federal, state and territory agencies as the Deputy Commander COVID-19 Task Force. She delivered comprehensive policy solutions that preserved essential defence capability and critical business functions during the pandemic. Her work has also minimised disruption to Defence's workforce while ensuring the community was well supported by our Defence Force. Her appointment as a civilian to a command role was a first and reflected her diverse and unique skills. Ms Lee's commitment to her various roles and responsibilities have been of the highest order and are most deserving of our recognition. Ms Megan Lees awarded the Public Service Medal. Awarded the Public Service Medal, Mr. Andrew Snatchell, for outstanding public service to the defence community, particularly in delivering improvements of military justice processes for Australian Defence Force members. Mr. Snatchell demonstrated outstanding service in his role with the Military Redress and Review Section in the Department of Defence. He achieved a more efficient process in relation to the processing of redress of grievances for Defence Force members. His understanding of the benefits and limitation of previous regulations guided the development and implementation of new regulations, and he delivered respectful, fair and timely outcomes for Defence personnel. Mr. Snatchell's superior work has resulted in the Inspector General's Office now being able to redress grievance issues in a substantially improved timeframe. Mr. Andrew Snatchell awarded the Public Service Medal. Awarded the Public Service Medal, Mr. Christopher Thiel, for outstanding public service in developing and establishing globally recognised best practice guidelines to counter foreign interference in the Australian university sector. Mr. Thiel played a key role in bringing together university peak bodies, vice-chancellors and government agencies to consider measures to counter foreign interference in the sector. His development and leadership of the University Foreign Interference Task Force resulted in the creation of guidelines to address those concerns. The guidelines ensure decision-making is based on potential risks and support an environment of trust, helping our universities to continue to produce world-class research with academic freedom. Mr. Thiel is a long-serving public servant, highly regarded for shaping and delivering outstanding policy on sensitive, complex and urgent challenges. Mr. Christopher Thiel awarded the Public Service Medal. Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the presentations this evening.
We've acknowledged each of the recipients individually. I think it would be appropriate now to acknowledge them as a group. Congratulations. Well, what we're seeing this afternoon with the 16 recipients is our public service at work, our Defence Force and our community. 3 elements. Pleasing to say that nearly the majority of the people who walked through the door were women. But that is not our normal story. So let me talk to you about your homework. The Order of Australia should reflect the makeup of the Australian community. At the moment, we are underrepresented with women. Pleased to say that the percentage has increased significantly over the last 3 or so years, but we are not where we need to be. Similarly, it is underrepresented in our Indigenous Australians and those who come from an overseas background. We simply aren't represented in the right numbers. So you have seen the type of achievements that people have been recognised for, particularly in the community level. You know who those people are in your community. So your homework is go and nominate them. Now my job is to tell you to nominate them. Paul will tell you how. But the other part of my work is the assessment of your homework. And I do that by seeing who comes through this door over the next 2 years whilst I'm in this office. So please, you know the people in your community who are going above and beyond to help. Please nominate them. Without nominations, we have no one to present to the council and therefore no recipients. That's your homework. I hope that you see from the range of individual efforts, and many people representing teams, and they will be the first to admit that, that there is a real reason, as I said earlier, for optimism in our country. We have some great Australians out there. Now, Lyndall and I travel quite widely around the country. We see this every day of the week. I often say I don't need a survey or a university report to tell me that we're good people. I see it every day. This is part of that demonstration to Australia and the world about the quality of Australian people. So please help us continue to do that. Nominate and then enjoy the result of your nomination. We look forward to meeting family members after our photograph here outside. Can I just say again to the family members, I know that this is a team effort. Thank you for what you do. As I'll say to each of the recipients as I go around, you got your bling today. I think you owe somebody else some. So go shopping, particularly the gentlemen. And we do look forward to catching up with you this afternoon, celebrating with you some great Australians. Thank you and enjoy the rest of the afternoon.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Well, ladies and gentlemen, to assist with the homework, unfortunately we can't help with the bling, but to assist with the homework, if you consider anyone worthy for consideration within the Order of Australia, I invite you to nominate them via accessing the online nomination form, which is available on the Governor-General's website at www.gg.gov.au. And as the Governor-General said, we look forward to welcoming those that have been successful through that process to a future investiture ceremony such as this. I now invite the recipients to join with Their Excellencies out on the state entrance stairs for official photographs. And would you please stand for the departure of Their Excellencies, the Governor-General, Mrs. Hurley, and the recipients.